I'd like to welcome everybody. This is our January 23rd regular business meeting of the Mason County Commission. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you mind leading us today?
I would love to. Can we stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for leading us in that honor. Roll call, please.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Shooting.
Here.
And Commissioner District 3, Terry Drexler is absent.
Next up is correspondence and organizational business. Do we have any correspondence to come before this commission?
Yes. So Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent a liquor license application for the Woodshed Bar and Grill at 23698 Northeast State Route 3 in Belfair. State of Washington Department of Commerce sent a letter regarding the adopted 2016 through 2036 Mason County Comprehensive Plan. Economic Development Council of Mason County sent in their 2017 fourth quarter report. The United States Department of the Interior, Bureau of Indian Affairs, sent notices of applications filed by the Squaxin Tribe to have real property accepted in trust for parcel numbers 31919-11-0030, 31919-11-00040, 31919-21-00090, and 31919-22-00070. And finally, Joel Harper sent in an application for the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging Board.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Next up on the agenda is a proclamation. This is the Great Kindness Challenge. Proclamation for the Great Kindness Challenge. Whereas the Great Kindness Challenge was created and launched in 2011 by Kids for Peace, a global nonprofit based in Carlsbad, California, and whereas the Great Kindness Challenge was piloted with 3 Carlsbad public schools and has now expanded to all 50 states with over 10 million students participating. And whereas the Great Kindness Challenge is 1 week dedicated to students performing as many kind acts as possible using a provided checklist. And whereas Belfair Elementary proudly demonstrates their commitment to improve school climate and increase student engagement by participating in the Great Kindness Challenge. And whereas Belfair Elementary is honored to unite all students in the spirit of kindness and respect, now therefore we, the Board of Mason County Commissions, do hereby proclaim the week of January 22nd, 2018 as the Great Kindness Challenge Week, where kindness matters in Mason County and beyond. Is there any other correspondence or organizational business to come before us? I would like to give a compliment to Belfair Elementary. I think it's a wonderful idea and thing they're doing. Going around, they're trying to actually go around and create random acts of kindness as well. So this whole list is everything from hugging a friend or inviting a friend to go and sit down and have lunch with them or play with them or saying thank you. It's a wonderful thing. I hope it spreads even further than it already has.
Thanks for bringing that forward for the commission this week, Commissioner. I think there's tremendous leadership at Belfair Elementary. Dan King is doing a tremendous job up there, and a little kindness goes a long way.
It does, and I couldn't agree with you more. He is doing a really wonderful job. All right, with that being said, we'll go ahead and move into item number 5, which is our open forum for citizens' input. This is your opportunity to come and speak to the commission and any item regarding any issue that is not on the agenda. If it is on the agenda, we ask that you wait and speak when it comes up at that time. But if you're willing and wanting to come up and speak to us now in regards to an item not on the agenda, you will be given up to 5 minutes per person, 15 minutes total for everybody. With that being said, is there anybody who would like to speak on any item that is not on the agenda? Go ahead. Come on.
signed up first, but I believe. Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners Netherland and Shooting.
Good evening.
I'm here tonight to announce the beginning of tax season, tra-la-la, and to announce the opening of Tax Aid sponsored by AARP. We will do your taxes for free, with certain limitations. We'll be at the Shelton Library every Saturday starting February 3rd from 10 a.m. to 3. will be at the Belfair Library every Tuesday starting February 6th from 10:30 till 3, and at the Shelton Senior Center Wednesday starting February 7th by appointment only, all running through April 15th.
Thank you. AP, come on in. I'd like, before she says anything, this is an annual event, and we are all so proud of her. Every year, she makes us proud. Please.
So it is Girl Scout cookie season as well, and this year we've got eight varieties of cookies, and we've also got a donation process, and it's called Operation Cookie Drop. And what it is you buy a box of cookies, but instead of receiving said box of cookies, it is sent overseas to deployed military people. And so, cookies. Buy some cookies.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And with that, we will be pressuring everybody shortly. We've asked her to also come back next week because we usually have a much fuller house. So right now, though, that program of being able to buy the cookies and not eat them is appreciated by me for obvious reasons. But the idea that we get to send them to people overseas and give a thank you, a special thank you to our service people that are protecting our country. What a wonderful gift that is all by itself. And we thank you for the opportunity to give us to bring that to us each year. But we will hopefully see you next week as well.
Actually, next week is Belfair, so we'll do the
Oh,
week
sure.
after
The week
that.
after that. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Yes, please.
Well, Commission, my name is Bill Wells. I reside at 5961 East State Route 3, Shelton. I come before you tonight with, if I could just read something to you. I'm asking the Mason County Commissioners to consider adopting a resolution to address real property conversions within Mason County. This is how my proposed resolution for your consideration would address the issue of real property being sold and then converted to non-taxable status from property that is taxable to property which becomes non-taxable due to land being held by another sovereign nation. The resolution would read something like this. For your consideration, it says, be it resolved that the Mason County Commissioners do hereby declare that from this date no further land conversions shall be allowed, and that no real property be allowed to be sold with the purpose of removing said property from Mason County Tax Authority and its current property tax rolls within all of Mason County. That no parcel shall be transferred to any other sovereign nation, that the county shall block all such land conversions. This resolution shall not preclude property from being sold to any other foreign or domestic persons or other entity, as long as said parcels shall remain under the authority and sovereignty of Mason County and the sovereign state of Washington, and all said parcels shall remain under the property tax rolls of Mason County. The added to this is also the, I'd like to express that I'd like to have the commission study the current letter that you received. I didn't get a chance to address that, but the letter that you received regarding the current conversions that is before the county that you received in the correspondence, that there are citizens of Mason County that I've spoken to that have issues with further conversions, trying to keep everything on a level playing field. Under the Washington State Constitution, Section 12, it talks about special privileges and special immunities. And basically it's trying to lay out that all people should be treated equally within the state. So to remain a level playing field and to keep our property from being converted to land that ends up being non-taxable off the tax rolls, it creates a burden for the other citizens that remain on the tax rolls when valuable property gets removed. So parcels that can sometimes be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, gets converted, and that property gets taken off the tax rolls, i.e. no more property taxes collected from those parcels. And it becomes under the authority of other sovereign nations. This is a difficult one because it deals with the federal government, the state government, and the local government. And the research that I've done states that the sovereign state of Washington has the authority and the responsibility to properly transfer property. The county has the authority to study all such property conversions and to report any problems that might, any objections or any objections for the property to be removed from the tax rolls. So with this resolution, it would state that no further property shall be converted. It doesn't say anywhere, and the intent of the resolution is not to change any current property that's already been changed or converted or is now off the tax rolls. We're talking about from a date today or at some other point when the commission would adopt this resolution, that the property could be, that it could stop the conversion of property to the state of to another sovereign nation. Am I making myself clear? I know it's a complicated issue. I've studied it extensively before I brought it to the commission tonight, and I do believe that it's within the commission's domain to adopt a resolution stating that any letters or correspondence or any other conversions, that you object to all of them, or that you'll take them on a case-by-case basis, which is what you're allowed right now. You're allowed 30 days to respond. Assuming you have no negative response, the land gets converted. The property gets transferred. I would like to be, if I'm not the first, at least state that right now I object to the correspondence that you received and to those parcels being converted, assuming those parcels would be coming off the tax rolls. There's nothing in this resolution, and it would be important that no one mistake it for anything that would be taken as racist or against any particular group, because actually this would apply to any sovereign nation or anyone that decided they wanted to start a sovereign nation within the boundaries of Washington State and within Mason County. So if I could, and I'll cut my time short here because I know I'm getting close to the end, I'd like to read you the resolution just one more time. And now that you've had a chance to kind of see where I'm coming from. Be it resolved that the Mason County Commissioners do hereby declare that from this date, and I'll also give you a copy of this, by the way, do hereby declare that from this date, no further land conversions shall be allowed, and that no real property be allowed to be sold with the purpose of removing said property from Mason County Tax Authority and its current property tax rolls within all of Mason County. That no parcel shall be transferred to any other sovereign nation. That the county shall block all such land conversions. This resolution shall not preclude property from being sold to any other foreign or domestic persons or other entity, as long as said parcels shall remain under the authority and sovereignty of Mason County and the sovereign state of Washington, and all said parcels shall remain under the property tax rolls of Mason County. So if I could, Commissioners, can I?
Thank you, Mr. Wells.
There's a couple of typos in there, but I think
That's
you
all
got
right.
it.
Okay.
And I think you're at your 5 minutes, but I would like to let you know what I do know about the issue a little bit. For the most part, we will share this with our prosecuting attorney office, but I can share with you that we've gone over the years. We've gone over some issues that we've had with how some of that process works, and what we found is for ourselves, and we'll look into it further. But what we found is it doesn't work that way for us. The only thing we have a right to do is to give a word of objection that does not have to be listened to. As soon as when they sell or buy land in the county with anybody, it still stays on the tax rolls unless it is taken up by, for example, the Indian Trust for lands. If it's accepted into theirs, then it automatically is. It's not something that the county has a say in. They just have the right to exercise an opinion on that, but the decision is made way above the county's level on whether or not it gets into that trust. Just to let you know, because there has been questions about that in the past, and I will, with
Yeah.
the permission of my other commissioner, we will deliver this. What I would also like is, if you don't mind, could you put a phone number on this for me, please?
You betcha.
We'll deliver it to our prosecuting attorney, and we may be contacting you further for further discussion on it, because we will take
Yeah,
your
we'll take a look.
your words seriously, and we'll look at the. I have a pen right here.
Oh, okay. Just a quick follow-up to what you said. Put this on here before I get here. The state of Washington is sovereign, just like all states are sovereign. And by the very definition of sovereign, sovereign means that you actually have, the states have reserved the sovereignty to determine all land issues within the state. The federal government cannot mandate the state to do anything with the land or transfer. And so,
But again, Mr. Wills, you're
Okay.
well past your 5 minutes, but
Okay, thank you so much.
we will take it into consideration, and we will litigate it amongst ourselves at a future period, though, with the right people in
it's
the
a
room with us.
complicated issue.
Yeah,
Thank
well,
you so much
well,
for
for that,
that.
you have to have an attorney. It's
Above our pay grade.
Yes.
I totally understand. Thank you so
Is there
much.
anybody else who would wish to speak to the commission at this time? Hearing none, we will go ahead and move on to item number 6, which is the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move adoption of tonight's agenda as presented.
I will second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of the minutes from January 16, 2018's regular meeting.
I will second. Is there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Item number 8, approval of the action agenda. All item listed under the action agenda will be voted on with one vote. The public will be given an opportunity to remove it or ask a question that would help them decide whether or not to remove it, as will the commission. With that being said, I will read item number 8.1, and you'll be asked if you would like to have it taken off or have a question. Item number 8.1, approval of the contract addendum to the Bella Casa Cleaning Service 2018 contract, updating the county's representative and the required insurance requirements. With that being read, is there anybody who has any questions? Hearing none, anybody would like to have any item taken off the agenda? How about you, Commissioner?
I'd like item 8.1 to have a separate vote.
Okay. Item number 8.1 is open now for a separate vote. It's been taken off the consent agenda. Since there are no other items on the consent agenda, we move on to item number 8.1. Approval of contract addendum for the Bella Casa Cleaning Service 2018 contract, updating the county's representative and required insurance requirements. Do I hear a motion, sir?
Mr. Chair, I move the approval of item 8.1.
I will second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries. We have no other business under the action agenda. It moves us into other business, department heads or elected officials. Are there any department heads or elected officials who would like to speak at this time? Hearing none, we will move on to item number 10, which is our public hearings, and we have none. Item number 11, board reports and calendar. If you would like to go first.
Sure, thanks, Mr. Chair. Couple items from last week. before I get into this upcoming week's calendar, last week had a very productive meeting with the Criminal Justice Working Team. We went over items for consideration for this year, and I believe there's going to be an emphasis on two items in particular. One of those being mental health, and trying to continue to put together a resource guide for folks in the criminal justice community here, so that they know who to call for what when, and continue to refine the lists that we do have. And the other item is going to be continued work on evaluating our criminal justice facility needs, in hopes to determine a path forward, seeing what options might be available for improving our facilities for the jail, the courthouse, and we're very spread out on our campus, and so we've long dealt with facility challenges, and so we're going to continue to look at those issues on that working team as well. Spent Thursday last week at the legislature for the Association of Counties Legislative Steering Committee. It was a good day to be in Olympia. They actually got some things accomplished, including fixing Hearst, as well as adopting the capital budget, which had been on hold pending a resolution for Hearst. So very happy about that. Our planning department continues to work through how to update code based on the legislative resolution. I just want to point out a few items too from the capital budget. Mason County did very well in the capital budget, and it was one of those things that was absolutely worth waiting for, I think, for the folks that are going to receive money from the capital budget. In addition to $515,000 for the Belfair Sewer, as partnership with the Puget Sound Industrial Center, we're looking at $8.8 million for renovations at Ills Hill Spring Hatchery, $7 million for floodplain planning by the Mason Conservation District, which is in partnership with the Department of Ecology's Floodplains by Design program, $6.2 million for the electrical and structural projects at Washington Correction Center here in Shelton, $4.7 million for renovation of the Hoodsport Hatchery, $3 million for veterans housing, Tiny Homes Project in Shelton, $1.5 million for the City of Shelton for continued work on their sewer system, $27,000 for improvements at Turning Point Domestic Violence Services Shelter in Shelton, and $12,000 for improvements to the Mills on Wheels kitchen in Belfair. Those funding for those projects was part of roughly $60 million for the 35th Legislative District that representatives and senator were able to help bring in for projects that are really, really important to our community. And so just a word of thanks to them for their efforts over the past several months in working on that for our people in the community. Friday of last week, I had meetings at Crossroads Housing talking about how they're going to move forward. Really excited about some of the opportunities that they're pursuing. And then also met with folks out at BHR here in town talking about their delivery of services for mental health. In particular, their partnership at North Mason Schools. They're doing a great job up there, and so it was great to hear about the work they're doing. Going forward for the next week, tomorrow I'm excited to start something new for folks out in my neck of the woods with a mobile office hours opportunity. So I'll be at the Hoodsport Library tomorrow morning from 10:30 until noon, meeting with anybody and everybody that would like to pop in and say hi and talk about their priorities or questions or comments or concerns about county government, and just kind of in response to some of the reduced levels of service here in town, and sometimes I know it's difficult for folks to make it down here for meetings during the week, and so just trying to provide another opportunity to meet with constituents out in my area. Also going to be meeting later this week with Green Diamond, attending the Sheriff's Breakfast on Friday, and then also have a Legislative Steering Committee webinar that afternoon. I'm sure Hearst and other legislative issues will be the hot topic there. And then back Monday for briefings and our meeting on Tuesday.
Commissioner, a little compliment on you reaching out to meet and talk with more people. Yours is probably the hardest district in the county, because you have to stretch all the way from the top of the backside all the way down to the bottom on the other. So you reaching out and doing that, I think, is very productive. Little kudos for that.
I might even bring bring some cookies and
Cookies? Yeah,
refreshments
there
just
you
to
go.
entice people.
So, let's see, I had the Mason Transit Authority meeting, North Mason Chamber of Commerce had a board meeting, I attended, I'm ex officio member on that. We, Hawkins Middle School had their teacher appreciation night, I just love my community. In order to feed the teachers for doing a late night, we had a potato bar with everything you can imagine, then there was a pasta bar with everything you can imagine, and there was a salad bar as well. It was quite a few things. It was pretty impressive. Oh, and walking tacos. The idea of that is just phenomenal. I don't know who thought about it. You open up a bag of Doritos, you crush it, you put the meat, you put the cheese and everything, and you have a walking taco. It's not a bad idea. And literally, they ate like 20 of them. So I was a little surprised, but that's how it works. I love that community. Temple Board meeting, I had the opportunity and was given the honor to go and read that proclamation to Belfair Elementary. And I want to thank you, Commissioner Schutte, for allowing me that opportunity, that wonderful experience for me to be able to do that. That couldn't have been done without your blessings on that, especially such short order. So thank you very much for that. We had our briefings, Port of Allen meeting last night as they're going over their comprehensive plan. I met with employees for an exit meeting, and we had our Board of Health meeting today. I also will be meeting this next week with the Law Library, EDC hiring committees, the Audit Committee. We have briefings, opioid stakeholder meetings up in North Mason. We have our Belfair Fifth Tuesday meeting, MTA policy meeting, Women Ours, and the Allen Community Association that brings us back eventually to our regular briefings here. With that being said, that's all I have. Do you have anything further?
I do not.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn.
I have second, hearing no objection, we are adjourned.
Have a good night.